just a few seconds ago, the people called their witness, Michael Dean Cohen, to the stand. He is a key prosecution witness, obviously, having worked for Donald Trump for so long, and then obviously turned against him sometime before his congressional testimony in 2019. Michael Cohen has been called to the stand, and we will be bringing you all of that, all of the details as they come in. Prosecutor Susan Hoffinger is going to conduct the direct examination of Michael Cohen. We also have some new photographs of Donald Trump from inside the courtroom. There he is. Looks like he's in a mood. Let me bring in Lanny Davis right now, who used to represent Michael Cohen. And Lanny, thanks for being here. Michael Cohen's entered the courtroom. You said you spoke to him last night. Tell me about his mindset, testifying this is one of the most important days of his life.
Well, much better than the night before he faced Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows and the Republicans, because he has a judge who's presiding in that particular venue. There were no rules, and it was all attack. He walked into a room, and on the wall was, behind Jim Jordan, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." And the night before, we did try to provoke him over and over again to being called a liar. So he's going to do very well today. And last night, he and I joked about whether this will be worse than what he faced with Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows. But I do think his mindset is tell the truth, tell it calmly, and remember everything he says, he knows, I know because I was with Susan Hoffinger for almost a year, is fully corroborated, everything.
Although Cohen is testifying pursuant to a subpoena. It says that even if he's cooperative, he's testifying pursuant to a subpoena.
And in the case of the congressional testimony, we decided and told Chairman Cummings, no subpoena, we're here under oath, but voluntarily.
Trump looked up at Cohen after he walked by the defense table. We're also told that when Cohen walked in, he's wearing a dark suit, white shirt, light pink tie. His face was facing forward. His eyes are darting around the gallery. A dramatic moment going on right now in the court. The prosecution is asking Cohen if he sees Trump in the courtroom. We've been told that Donald Trump, as is his wont, is looking straight ahead in his seat, not to the right where Michael Cohen, where the witness sits. Cohen leans to his right, then stands up and identifies Trump in court. That's him wearing a blue and white tie.
So it's a dramatic moment. It's a common moment in criminal cases. The reason Michael Cohen stands up there, by the way, is not to be dramatic. It's because you have to stand up in that courtroom in order to see everybody.
You can't really see over the judge's immense.
Right.
I mean, and obviously I'm not blaming Judge Merchan, but that is a wildly egomaniacal desk to have where a witness can't even see. Trump, his eyes appear closed as Cohen is identifying him. Obviously, this is what his attorneys have told him to do. Be calm, look ahead, don't take the bait, don't let this get to you.
Yeah, so far 14 minutes in, they're keeping calm, both of them. Michael Cohen pled guilty back in 2018 to federal charges, including campaign finance relating to the Stormy Daniels payoff, including lying to Congress, and then separately having nothing to do with Donald Trump, including bank fraud and tax fraud, both of which related to his taxi cab medallion business and his personal finances.
Yeah.
If I could pose a question to Lanny Davis, because I think it goes to the heart of the matter here.
Michael Cohen is speaking very evenly with a calm, even tone, so that would be like what we heard in his congressional testimony when he was so well prepared by Lanny Davis. Please continue.
When it comes to the key piece of testimony about what Michael Cohen and Donald Trump discussed at that White House meeting in February of 2017, is Michael going to say there was explicit communication with Donald Trump? We're going to structure it this way. We're going to do it to make it look like legal fees so it hides the Stormy Daniels payment? Or is Michael going to go back to the mob boss testimony, which he's given before, and said, well, it was more of a wink, wink, nod, nod. He sort of told me, do what you got to do.
So the one thing I'm not going to do is to predict to you what.
Well, based on
Michael
your
Cohen
conversations with him, though.
And based on my conversations, I will say to you that Michael Cohen has already publicly testified that Donald Trump knew that what he was paying for was to be reimbursed for a crime that Michael Cohen went to prison for, and that Rudy Giuliani said on television was reimbursements, and there's never a dispute that they were for legal fees. That's what he'll testify.
And to your point, Ellie, when you have ambiguity placed in front of the jury when it's, well, it was an insinuation made by the defendant. A witness that has credibility issues is going to be tougher for the jury to believe. Now, I don't doubt that he's telling the truth and is supported by documents and might even be supported by the testimony of other witnesses. But you can't tell me that prior convictions, particularly for lying, don't play in front of the jury. We've all lost Trump's
Michael
argument.
Cohen is now describing how he began working for Trump when he lived at Trump World Tower. And Jamie Gangel, obviously the prosecution is trying to get out on their own terms some of the negative information about Michael Cohen that is going to come out from the defense attorneys, such as the other guilty pleas that had nothing to do with Donald Trump or his role with Donald Trump. Cohen is explaining how he helped orchestrate a co-op board takeover at Trump World Tower to resolve an issue, which he says was to Mr. Trump's satisfaction. And I believe that is the moment that Donald Trump first saw this young man with a glint in his eye named Michael Dean Cohen. This is a go-getter. This kid can do things.
So a couple of things. I love the lead of our CNN.com piece that our team wrote. Nobody has anything nice to say about Michael Cohen, but the prosecutors have put that out there in order to inoculate him because they know that's what's coming. I'm also not sure that people understand how long Michael Cohen worked for Donald Trump. This was not just some casual relationship. He worked for him.
Yeah, Cohen says he helped Trump with legal issues after that. When asked if he got paid for any of that work at the time, he says, no, ma'am. That's Donald Trump's favorite fee. None.
Right. Free. So he worked for him for 10 years. In his memoir, Michael Cohen says that he was, quote, Trump's designated thug. I think the two of you have been on the receiving end of phone calls.
Cohen says Trump offered him a job when he met Trump at the office to inquire about a $100,000 bill for work he did for Trump Entertainment Resorts, probably seeking compensation there, goes to Trump, and then Trump offers him a job. Maybe figured out it would be cheaper to hire him than to do these billable hours. He asked me whether or not I was happy at my sleepy old firm, Cohen says, in a preview of an attack Donald Trump would make on somebody else years later.
So some things.
Trump then asked whether Cohen wanted to work for him. And I was honored. I was taken by surprise, Cohen says.
So I think you cannot underestimate how much Michael Cohen liked working for Donald Trump. This is the man who was said, I'll take a bullet for him. People who know both of them have told me that they thought Michael Cohen would be the last person to turn on Trump. We're going to hear as the other side of his lying and what he's
So Michael
done.
Cohen's testifying right now. He offered me the position of Executive Vice President of Trump Organization and Special Counsel to Donald J. Trump, whereby I would only answer to him and I would work on issues that were of concern to him, which is interesting because that suggests this guy is somebody who can help me. And I only want him reporting to me, and he'll be my guy. And that's Donald Trump has always, as president, expressed a desire to have a person like that as Attorney General. He usually talks about Roy Cohn or Eric Holder, but that's the kind of guy he wants, a very loyal one. If he gets elected in November, no doubt he will have someone like that as Attorney General. Trump never paid him for the bill for Trump Entertainment Resorts. By the way, that $100,000 bill was never paid. He asked me if I wanted to get fired on the first day if I asked about the bill, Cohen says, while smiling at the memory.
This goes straight to the question of why Michael Cohen did not go rogue and come up with this. He knew Donald Trump stiffed people.
So Michael Cohen is looking right ahead of him at Susan Hoffinger, the prosecuting attorney, while testifying. He has not looked over to his left to the jury.
Just a couple things we're going to hear. He once told the judge, I felt it was my duty to cover up his, meaning Donald Trump's, dirty deeds, and that he's going to say he lied in court. He did it in the service of Donald Trump. One thing to remember. Go ahead.
Well, just Cohen is saying that he never went back to his old job after he accepted that position at the Trump Organization. Not even that day, he says. So he goes in from his firm with a $100,000 bill for services rendered. Trump says, how'd you like to work for me? He's incredibly honored. He never gets that bill paid, and he never even goes back to his old job. Trump sent over some Trump Organization employees to pack up his stuff, Cohen says. Cohen says he never went back. And he's leaned back right now, Trump, in his chair with his eyes closed as Cohen is testifying. Who did you report to at the time, Hoffinger asks. Mr. Trump, Cohen says.
Who else? I mean, and this is the beginning of, I mean, as Jamie said, when you say he liked to work for Donald Trump, I mean, he acted as though he was Donald Trump personified.
Well, he also,
right?
he did not work under, there was a general counsel at Trump Organization, and Cohen just testified he did not work under the general counsel's office. He was his own free-floating rogue attorney working for Donald Trump.
Like his Roy Cohn, as you say, which I think sets the stage for what we're going to hear about how these payments were made, the way in which Michael Cohen was acting, was treated as though he was acting. He really was, and you've kind of heard this from some of the other witnesses as well, they were trying to kind of buttress this argument that Michael Cohen was always speaking for Donald Trump, and that he was not a freelancer.